Mr. Graves, can you please explain to me in detail the event that occurred at Vandenberg Air Force Base?
Certainly. In the 2003 timeframe, a large group of Boeing contractors were operating near one of the launch facilities at Vandenberg Air Force Base when they observed a very large 100-yard sided red square approach the base from the ocean and hover at low altitude over one of the launch facilities. This object remained for about 45 seconds or so before darting off over the mountains. There was a similar event within 24 hours later in the evening. This was a morning event, I believe 8:45 in the morning. Later in the evening, post-sunset, there were reports of other sightings on base, including some aggressive behaviors. These objects were approaching some of the security guards at rapid speeds before darting off. And this is information that was received through one of the witnesses that have approached me at Americans for Safe Aerospace.
Was this documented in any official form, whether it was a police blotter?
Yes, they had official documentation and records from the event that the witness held over the years.
Have you seen that before on any other equipment and/or during your flight time?
I have not seen what they've described. This object was estimated to be almost the size of a football field, and I have not seen anything personally that large.
So this is Ryan Graves. And my man, after having so many of his own personal UAP experiences, he formed the Americans for Safe Aerospace Committee, which is where other pilots can report their own UAP sightings. And this story is one of those reports. Now I know what you're thinking, hey, but this is hearsay, he wasn't really there, and we all know the thing is with hearsay, it can't be admitted in court, just like with Amber Heard, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. This report is what over 100 Boeing contractors saw at the exact same time. And this is not just ordinary people, yo. These are Boeing contractors who were sent to a sensitive location where they have an actual missile test launch site, dude. Which means that they could be scientists, they could be physicists, and the thing is for sure, they're probably all smarter than me, dog. But needless to say, they got shit to lose. I'm gonna run, so because that will affect not only their credibility, but also their reputation. And since Graves has told this story in front of the whole world, up until this point, Boeing has not come out to deny these claims, yo.
Yep. Gentlemen, let's talk about the laws of physics for a second. Mr. Graves and Commander Faber, I heard you talk about speed. When those objects broke the sound barrier, did they make a sonic boom?
I will say the objects that we were seeing, they were spherical, and they were observed up to Mach 2, which is a very non-aerodynamic shape.
What about G-forces? Let's talk about G-forces of those vehicles. Could a human survive those G-forces with known technology today?
No.
No, not for the acceleration rates that we observed.
So, both of these pilots confirmed the exact same thing, that no human could have piloted the crash that they saw. Speaking of which, they also confirmed that there was something piloting this shit, which is gonna come into play whenever old boy Grush says some absolutely crazy shit in this next part, yo.
Mr. Grush, a couple of questions for you too, sir, this morning. What percentage of UAPs do you feel are adequately investigated by the U.S. government, of the 5% that are reported?
I can only speak for my personal leadership over at NGA. I tried to look at every report that came through that I could triage, so.
Do you believe that officials at the highest levels of our national security apparatus have unlawfully withheld information from Congress and subverted our oversight authority?
There are certain elected leaders that had more information that I'm not sure what they've shared with certain Gang of Eight members or et cetera, but certainly.
So check this. This guy is in the business of intelligence, which is why he chooses his words really carefully.
Yeah.
And he noticed how he said elected positions. That means this guy has narrowed it down to people in the possible 4 positions: the House of Representatives, the senators, the vice president, or the president.
Yeah.
These are the only possible 4 positions that can be involved in some sketchy cover-up shit, yo.
Yeah.
So my man is putting pressure on a couple of people, yo. I guess for Biden, he's got plausible deniability because he can't remember shit. He can't remember what war we're fighting.
I'm not sure what they've shared with certain Gang of Eight members or et cetera, but certainly I would not be surprised.
Okay. You've stated that the government is in possession of potentially non-human spacecraft. Based on your experience and extensive conversations with experts, do you believe our government has made contact with intelligent extraterrestrials?
Something I can't discuss in public setting.
I think a lot of people mistook this part saying that, hey, I don't want to tell you. But you need to understand, he's saying it's something I can't discuss in a public setting, meaning we need to be in a private, secure place for me to tell you the shit because of my security clearance and for the safety of the other people involved in this program. And the fact that he hesitate lets you know that he's trying to figure out a way to give the information without compromising himself.
Okay, I can't ask when you think this occurred. If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Wow. So you need to keep in mind, not only has he already said this before, he said this in a previous interview, like the term biologics means a biological substance that can sustain life. So they have to use this particular word because to use extraterrestrial or alien is too triggering. And you have to remember, he's in the intelligence industry. So he's very careful about the word he chooses, not only to keep himself from getting in trouble, but also to stop from causing people to freak the fuck out, which I think is already too late right now at this point, right?
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
I like how she has to stop herself, right? It's almost like, hey, can I ask this question? Will it sound too weird? Were they human?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
Was this documentary evidence?
Ooh, damn. So not only have they confirmed it, or the people that he talked to, these are people who are still in the program currently. So they're still working on this shit.
And was this documentary evidence, this video, photos, eyewitness? Like, how would that be determined?
The specific documentation I would have to talk to you in a skiff about.
Gotcha.
So when he says skiff, he is talking about a sensitive compartmental information facility, which actually exists in the very building they are talking in right now. There are several of them there. And what this is for some really big secrets that you don't want anyone else to know about. There's actually a running joke that all America's secrets are told in skiffs. And speaking of which, these Congress people have actually gone to the government to request access, saying, hey, we want to hear what this guy has to say, so give us access to the room, and they've been denied several times, yo.
But you know, we were denied access to a skiff so that we could receive some of that information. And honestly, the first step in the right direction is going to be getting that information in a skiff and seeing what we can release to the American people.
As of the past 24 hours, right now, the congressmen are fed up. They're saying either you give us access to the skiffs by the end of this month, or we are going to subpoena you and all your fucking friends to come and stand before everybody and tell us what the fuck happened.
Wow.
So this is really yeah.
This is your military telling your elected officials what to do.
And ultimately, even before we got down there, the Pentagon actually tried to cancel the field hearing. So we went down there, we were stonewalled. They would not give us access to testimony from some of the pilots. They were hiding images and information.
We were told there was pictures available, which we still haven't seen. And we're going to get to the bottom of it, whatever the truth may be. We're done with the cover-up.
So by September, shit is possible to get real.
而且要开学了。
要开始，哎，真的。